What's up, everybody? Yugi504 here, and we're here with Coffee Time. I am joined by the guy who can't tell February from March, Mikey.
I don't know months. I don't know time. I need a metronome, guys.
You need more than metronome, you need professional help. Uh, anyway, so
Oh,
this Coffee Time is pretty much going to a follow-up, a continuation of the Master Rule changes that go into effect, surprisingly,
yeah,
an OCG on March 25th.
yeah.
Pretty much
So,
things that were added during our discussion last time because Konami loves updating. I swear they have a thing against the channel. They always do this every
whoa,
single
whoa.
time.
It's not just our channel. It's every channel that does Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, but it's like literally it was like up like the moment I
Uh,
uploaded the video.
Jonathan, this is
Rob
not.
found the new information on Pendulum. It was
Jo-
like seriously.
Jonathan, this is not the video to talk about Konami's faults. That's for like
No,
when.
but I just like what the fuck.
All right, all right, all right. So yeah, it's everything Jonathan said. Basically, it's a continuation of the last week's coffee time, and like I said in that coffee time, there's gonna be a lot of follow-up videos because there's so much to talk about that it will probably go on for about an hour or two. And I know you guys, and I know one, YouTube won't allow that, and two, it will be too much talking.
Oh, definitely.
And so today we're gonna cover the pendulum side, the pendulum, and how the master rule affects them, and if it's and how much of a hindrance it is to pendulums. Now, my suggestion for this is: are pendulums essentially, or virtually speaking, dead? That's the question I want everyone to answer. Now, there's going to be those people who hate me and hate Jonathan and hate the fact that just those extremists that will say, no, they're not dead. We're going to try. And there's going to be those people who are like, yes, finally, someone who agrees with me. This is just a talk. This is just a talk. Like, don't like get overzealous or over angry you know or any of those emotions. This is just straightforward talk, straightforward everything. And in my opinion, they got crippled, and I hate to use that word because it's like I'm not gonna go all PC on you guys. So
So it's basically yes to the question if they're dead.
yeah,
Yes and no at the same time. Yes, maybe
yeah,
because of the fact that beforehand you use a pendulum deck. If you first, if you've been living in a cave under a rock and you don't know what
right,
happened is, any pendulum monster summoned to the extra deck goes into the extra deck monster zone, and you have to have a link monster all in the extra deck monster zone, or depending on someone in the main monster zone from the extra deck. So pretty much beforehand, anybody playing a pendulum deck knows that you do not care if your monsters got destroyed, outside of being solid, of course, because you can bring them right on back from the extra deck. It didn't really matter, but
honest,
that has been hindered
yeah,
greatly. That's one of the biggest aspects the pendulum monsters had, was the fact that you just bring back all your
yeah.
monsters. It didn't matter.
Well, on a side note, actually, there have been it's about like a couple days ago that there were some new Q&A questions and answers. There will be a link in the description. I think Jonathan, I'll let you put the link permanently in the description.
All right.
But basically the Q&A, to sum it up, you can't when you summon an extra monster by other means, like for example, Mass Change, the Crimson Dragon, or Starlight Roller, any type of summoning method that is non-legit, they go to the extra monster zone. They do not go to the main monster zone.
No, right,
So
you're
don't.
technically summoning. So you so in hindsight, it's pretty much you're as long as whenever you summon a monster from the extra deck, it goes into the extra monster zone, pretty much.
And that's something we may talk about later because for the just this is just straight for the record. I don't think that's like a legitimate reason to do that, considering Starlight Road's not a summoning condition for the extra deck. So we can talk
No,
about that later. But
but
we can talk. Yeah,
it's just I guess for Konami or just anybody in
yeah,
general, it's just an easy way to kind of get it out there. But okay, you know what?
right,
Every summoning from the extra deck, boom, just done with it.
right. All right.
Just,
So now back on track to pendulums. Now, if you guys don't know, this is the entire ruling list for pendulum monsters. All pendulum monsters that are face up in the extra deck must be summoned to the extra monster zone. Obviously, you'll need a link monster for that. And if you're pendulum summoning from the hand, they go to the main monster zone. So placement. Now Konami is making placement 100% important
Mm-hmm.
when you're playing decks that use an extra deck, that use pendulums, that use all these different things. So you got to be wary of where you actually put your monsters now, instead of like just, all right, I'll put it here, I'll put it here. I like this spot. I like that spot.
Which everybody tends to do, really. Like,
Yeah, and
be
not only that,
honest. Everybody. I'm sure there's gonna be that one guy in the comments. He's like, I don't do that. Everybody fucking does that shit. We all have those placements. Like, when it comes to like the Spawn Tropical Zone, people tend to put their best card in the middle, right in front of them.
Oh yeah,
Grab it. No, because you can grab it faster and activate it. Like, oh, I actually saw him. Haha, screw you.
and it's not just the monster zone; it's also the spawn trap card zone. Because remember,
Yeah.
if you're playing a pendulum deck, remember these scales are now considered normal spell and trap card zones. So unless like you already have them set in the scales, they're normal spell and trap card zones. So let's say you have a an anti-spell fragrance in one of them. I don't even know why you would run anti-spell fragrance in.
And a pendulum deck, like, sure, I'm gonna stop
But
my own self.
hypothetically speaking.
Sure, I'm gonna kill my own deck.
Or no. All right, I got a better one. How about summon gate?
There you
Let's
go.
say you have
That's
you have
better.
summon gate in your leftmost scale, in your leftmost spell and trap card zone, and you activate a scale. You're gonna have to wait till summon gate's gone. So you cannot. Your pendulums are locked out. And that's another thing that like really hit pendulum monsters. Like they don't have their own specific zone anymore. Jonathan?
Yeah,
Anything
like.
so, like you're just so quiet. In
No,
this one.
I was letting you talk, really.
No, it's all you, man. You played Magic Spectres before. You know how it feels.
I play Magic Spectres to piss people off in reality, because like it's like people play Exodian. You do it just to get the reactions. Really about it.
But yeah, talk to me, Jonathan. So before this new ruling, right? You could have Babunku or Kirin.
It was retarded.
Yes, it was retarded. So now
I've literally,
in your
I don't know, I've
opinion-
had so many people rage quit. I've literally outstalled a
Alright.
gadget deck. I've outstalled so many decks with resources just
Alright.
because of my recyclability of my traps.
So-
really.
in your utmost opinion, if you were to play Magic Spectres with this new ruling, would it hinder Magic Spectres like at all? Would it like?
Well, because you can't have your... Because one thing, Magic Spectres don't always use their Pendulum Summon mechanic. Not always. That's usually if they really are just trying to maybe go for the kill, or if they're really needing a search and they're running out of resources from the deck.
Okay.
But, in the most part, if you do have the scale, let's say you do have your two scales, like you have, like, I'm going to say Kirin, just the first thing popped in my head, and the Bumboku. Literally the two first, because they're the most common ones you're going to see anyway for any type of Magic Spectre. The three Spell Trappers Unlimited does hurt the deck because, you know, it's a stun deck, it loves to step by back row, pass type of thing. But it's not going to completely kill it because of the fact that, again, you still have those three traps you can potentially use. You just gotta hope that you don't get Twin Twistered, which would be a big negative. But I feel like things like Magic Spectres could still maybe do something, but you have to be more careful of how you use your scales, maybe when you want to use your scales. Like, if you have, like, I don't know, 4 traps in your hand, and you have, like, enough scales, don't use your scales. Just summon, like, your Bumboku or your Crow or something like that. Get the search off with with your Magic Spectre, and then just set your back. Or don't worry about the scales. Only do them if you really need to maybe make a push for game, or for some case, exceed summon, if you so choose to.
Okay, so yeah, but this is just in the case of Magic Spectres. Now, obviously, other pendulum decks like Magician Pendulums, Metal Foes, I can't even think of some off the top of my head. Like, there's not many.
You have the Vanilla Pendulum deck that's...
There's the Pendulum DDDs.
Oh, definitely. That deck's gonna get fucking, butchered.
Well, actually, not really, because in Pendulum DDDs, yes, they're gonna get hurt, but not as much as like the regular DDD build.
No, that's what I'm talking about. It's like...
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, but it's just like... It'll deter some people play DDDs, is basically what I'm getting at with that, because they love their contracts and stuff. It's kind of... that's the best way to play the deck, really.
So yeah, Pendulums in this is the only time I've ever seen a summoning mechanic or an archetype what is it? A monster card?
It's a summoning. It's a summoning mechanic. Really, is what it is.
All right, so this is the first time I've seen a summoning mechanic get limited this far. Like,
Normally,
granted,
what Konami does whenever they do things, they do tend to hit like the old. Except for
right,
Xyz. They let Xyz alone.
right,
Like, you know what?
but
Pendulums, who can, yeah, we're not going to touch
but
Xyz.
this is the first time they've gone to this extent.
Yeah, normally it's like a couple of
We
big
can
cards hit on the ban
right,
list to deter people from maybe,
like
I may not want to play this now. This is nothing to do with
we
plants.
can go back. Hell, we can go back to synchros and look. They didn't release as many tuners as they were doing before. They didn't release as many synchros as they were.
No,
It
but
was all exceeds. It was all every different archetypes. It was just like, let's take over with exceeds. Let's just re-synchros as it is.
pretty much until Synchro started popping in the manga, then they kind of
Yeah.
had no choice in the matter there. But yeah, they typically don't do major hits to, well, at least in the past, they never did major hits to older sounding mechanics. You know, mainly just the popular decks like Plants got butchered,
Right.
Ryonic got banned. Well, for more than one reason. Just saying, that's not the only reason. But yeah, Goyo got banned. You know, Shien got its ass limited. It's like a lot of these big power singles got handless over the course due to the fact that they wanted to go to Xyz. They didn't want people to play single monsters that much. They wanted to play the new mechanic. And it's sort of the same thing here. They want to prevent, they in a sense want to get people to not pay as close attention to Pendulums and pay more attention to the link summon mechanic, which one thing you'd be forced to regardless. Like,
personally speaking, I think they went a little too far.
yeah, like in my opinion, like the whole limit of the back row was hurtful enough.
I feel they would have been like as balanced as we can talk about
I think
this
they would have
game
been
being
perfect.
balanced.
But
If it just had the scales, if it just had the scales.
but if just let's say, yeah, say because Match Specters, if you have your scales, you're limited to 3 back row. Just
Right.
Pendulums. Like even though you don't really play a lot of back row, you still have the new Astrograph spell card, which you're going to run because it's amazing in the deck. You have the potential on Solemn Scolding, which is another good card in the deck. Metaphors, you know, you're gonna be sending your trap cards with their effects. Your Metaphors Fusion, and then like, well, the vanilla Pendulum deck doesn't really play. I don't know. Doesn't really have any key cards to be played in the extra deck unless you're playing with the Spire Surfing support, which that deck completely gets neutered right off the bat. So it's like, it was a hit enough. It was enough of a hit, and just adding literally fuel to the fire, just keep handing the deck a shovel, like keep on taking your grave. Pendulum monsters is like they went further, and I felt it was unnecessary, really, to go that far.
But in the case of Metalfoes, too, like when it comes to Metalfoes, they need it. They like completely destroyed Metalfoes in my opinion because
I don't think they completely destroyed the deck.
No. Let me explain to you why. It's because the fact that they need to destroy other cards or their own cards to get their effect, and as well as they need counter, specifically counter and Metalfoes fusion.
I don't think they completely destroyed it. Well, the current build is fucked. But what I think is going to happen, especially when it comes to Pendulums in general, is that people are going to start experimenting with Link monsters and Pendulum decks, and start figuring out, okay, I have these restrictions, how can I still play these decks, and figure out some way to play Metaphors like this, play Magic Spectres with this, play Magician Pendulums with this stuff, and basically evolve the deck or just basically make it function under these new mechanics. And who knows, Konami might eventually, after a little while, bring support to Link monsters that help Pendulums out. You never know what's going to happen for them.
But I think most of the quote-unquote meta Pendulum decks, I think what's going to happen is that they're going to end up being just deck engines at this point. Only because...
Well, the only really good deck engine for would be really Metaphors.
That's true. Currently, they are a deck engine, but I think they're going to be more like almost more of a deck engine than a fully built deck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. The other deck engine would be Magic Spectres, but you kind of have to play that in Pendulums, so...
Right. But again, also the fact that Link monsters are still vulnerable because, again, they're still monsters. So even if you get a Link monster out, there's not a guarantee that it's gonna stay on the field.
Well, of course, but this is
Like,
all like a hypothetical situation in case it
yeah,
does like, oh, you not saying Misty, but you destroyed their Solemn Strike, or they didn't have something to stop your Link
right.
monster. You
This
have your
makes
place now.
this makes a lot of counter traps. A lot of counter traps like Solemn Strike, Solemn
I
Warning,
feel like Strike is
Grand Horn,
going to get hit soon. I have a
Even
feeling.
Grandhorn. Like even Grandhorn is gonna be extremely viable when
I
Link
have a feeling that soon we're going to start seeing hits of Strike, Horn of Heaven, Grand Horn of Heaven. A lot of these
maybe.
counter traps are going to get hit on the list because of this new type of mechanic. Because it hurts it so. Because these things
Well,
hurt these
that
things a lot.
that would not make sense due to the fact that they already have a trap hole for Link monsters.
And it
So
does. Well, you have a trap hole for monsters, but Solemn Judgment got banned. Like that logic right there is completely not
and remember,
good.
we still have one of the main questions that no one has asked yet, which is really bugging me. What happens to Link monsters when they're destroyed?
I think they might go to grave.
Yes, they go to grave, but what happens when you revive it? Do they go to the Link zone or do they go to the main extra monster?
There is a theory, I've seen this a couple times, where some people have been saying that you can summon Link monsters in the monster zone. Because if you notice how some of the Link monsters are, the honeybee one, I think that's the card's name. You notice that it
Yeah.
has two arrows pointing sideways, right and left, not
Oh,
diagonal or any way. So
maybe.
that's basically sort of them saying that you can put them in the monster zone, in the main monster zone, once you have another Link monster and the Link zone, and then if the arrows pointing at, which would be the right and the left, will allow
Right.
you to Exceed Summon, Synchro Summon, Pendulum Summon from the extra deck on those two zones.
Right. So maybe we
So
don't know.
I'm
We
guessing,
still
like, if it gets revived, let's say they do go to the graveyard, because it has been 100% confirmed, but I'm guessing they do.
so
They would get revived to go to the main monster zone, probably, since it's not being summoned from the extra deck, it's being from the graveyard.
so yeah. So there's still this question. There's still that theory that you just said, and there's still all these things that we don't know about Link monsters yet. Even though the archetype is dropping in a month, I think we forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video.
I
In
did
oh
mention the new rules. I think it's going to come. I did
oh
mention
yeah,
the new
they
rules going to effect
okay
in
yeah,
March. So
they
I think
go
that's
into
pretty easy to tell that the Star Deck's coming out on March 25th.
yeah. So March 25th will be the official effective addition to the game in OCG. Most likely TCG. It will happen near the end of the year, or maybe next year. We don't know yet.
Uh,
But I would
I
say
don't know. I don't know Dark V anime is ever in terms of English. I have no idea. That's from that one.
no, but I would say close to the end of the year we will get.
Probably goes in here. We're going to probably see that.
So what do you? All right. So closing thoughts, Jonathan. What do you think? What's gonna happen to Pendulum monsters, man? What do you think
I
like is
think
gonna happen?
Pendulum's also a lot of steam. I think people. I think. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to in terms of meta, a lot of the hardcore meta players are going to drop Pendulums out the gate. But like, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm going to go to Link monsters and try to summon my Quasar with the Link monsters. But the really huge fans of Pendulum monsters are going to be like, you know what? I'm going to play this stuff. I'm going to work with the new mechanics. I'm going to try to keep my deck functioning because, you know what? They may have nerfed it with, well, for instance, destroyed it with the new mechanics. But there's still probably ways to play it, and it's just like with any deck out there. Any deck can pretty much utilize Link monsters, just like any deck can utilize Synchros or Exceeds. Just some decks can do it faster and better. But I feel like Pendulums can still do stuff. It's just you just gotta find that build that's gonna work for your deck and for your playstyle. That's gonna make it win duels potentially.
All right. So that's fair. In my opinion, I can see the same thing happening, but I'm not. But for Pendulum monsters, I feel it's gonna go towards more of a engine for decks rather than whole decks themselves because it would be more viable to splash it in to your current like main deck, whatever you're using now. It would be more viable to splash in like metal foes, make it a little bit faster, go for a little bit more deck thinning, and that kind of thing. But overall, I think Pendulums will stick around at least until Link monsters completely take over after like maybe what 3 4 sets.
Probably the next couple sets.
But again, this is all hypothetical. I don't know. Jonathan doesn't know. I'm sure some of the fans of the council or just Yu-Gi-Oh in general don't know. I know who knows though. Konami.
Cool
Screw you
money.
guys.
Just put
Screw
their
you
name
guys.
down. Also Konami, please bring Rush Rabbit up to at least 2 so I can play the
Stop.
Rabbit build I had,
Stop.
and
Stop.
I haven't watched your pro.
Stop.
Please.
Oh my god. Well, guys, go bust down Konami stores for Jonathan's request. So
Hey,
make
they're
sure to
already
comment.
doing it for the ban list. You know it's true.
All right, that's enough out of you.
No, it's true. Go look at the fucking post. Ban list, ban list,
Oh my
ban
god.
list, ban list,
Oh my
please,
god.
ban list.
All right, so make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are pendulums dead? Are they not dead? What's gonna happen to them? Those are the questions that is the focus of this video, and it took like 20 minutes to do. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this little discussion, please subscribe and go catch us on our live streams on Friday. Well, actually,
Quick
Jonathan.
reminder about the live
Right.
streams that there will be no poll this week. We
And
are
this,
choosing 3 pendulum decks that we want to use. Basically, since we don't know when Electro is going to update with the new link summon mechanic, we want to go and get some of these decks out the way before they update it.
and this week will be 3 new videos. One will be a actually 2 new videos. One will be a top 10 or a top 5. I'm not sure which one yet. Someone requested a top blank video of decks without extra that don't need extra decks, and I have a dual video recorded and ready, and it will be ready for you guys this week as well. And that's about it. Jonathan, anything else?
Not really.
All right, so we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.